walk up to a random placard and say, "No."
Good afternoon everyone. In today's video I'll be reviewing Find Everything. I'm sure that quite a lot of people who are watching right now are unaware of what this game even is or what it's about, so I won't spoil anything. Yes, there is spoilers, so I won't be covering all too many secret areas. Anyways, what is Find Everything? Well, Find Everything is a collectathon 3D platformer made by Pawbean, where you explore through many large open maps and linear obstacle courses to collect a bunch of things called, well, things. There's currently 145 things in the game right now, but sometimes I see people with 153, so I'm not quite sure. At the time of this review, I have all 145 things. Only one of them I used a guide to get. That damn Elder Ring, I swear. Oh yeah, back on topic. The game is currently in early access and costs 250 Robux to play, but despite being able to get a vast majority, if not all of the things in the game in about an hour or two, I'd say it's well worth it. Though expect to see some very obvious missing/unfinished content during your time playing this game. It's very likely you'll see work in progress areas as early as the first area of the game, but that doesn't mean that everything that might be fun is blocked off. We still have a decent amount of stuff to work with and none of it is very unfun except for, that place. We don't talk about that place. Now, before I fully begin the review, there's one more thing I need to say. As much as I don't like to be that type of YouTuber, I'm hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers before 2023, so if you end up enjoying this video then consider subscribing. I put a lot of effort into making videos, if you ignore my 3 different month-long hiatuses. Anyways, let's begin the review with... Despite the game's early access state, there's still progression to be had since you don't have every one of your moves from the beginning. You start off with just a basic jump and eventually unlock double jumping, rolling, and even air dashing. You'll need to collect a certain amount of things to unlock each one of these cool new moves. Things are scattered around absolutely everywhere. While Stars Align, another game I reviewed on this channel, is a lot like Mario 64 in its design, this is a lot more like Odyssey, where there's collectibles under every nook and cranny. There's also some depth to this game's movement system. For example, if you air dash, roll, or long jump into a wall, you'll bounce off of the wall. But what you may be unaware of is that you're able to double jump or air dash out of this, unless you already used your air dash. Meaning that if you long jump into a wall, double jump, then air dash into that same wall, you'll get a ton of height. You can also do a tech roll, which is performed by rolling shortly after performing an air dash. I almost forgot to mention that you're capable of long jumping, even while in midair. If you roll off of a ledge and jump while you're still rolling, you'll perform a midair long jump which doesn't even eat up your double jump despite it being a midair jump. Even if you master just 2 of these tricks, you'll be able to get to quite a lot of places where you shouldn't be. There's also basic moves you have from the beginning, like climbing, tightrope walking, and rail grinding, which can be seen as early as Thingsburg and Mount Doodah. But these are dependent on if there's climbable walls, tightropes, and rails around, obviously. Your moves aren't just there for cheesing the game or making levels easier, they're also required to reach some areas of the games, such as the Dump, Yipee City, and the other half of Thingsburg. Well, technically you can get there with just the basic jump, but that's for you to figure out on your own. The movement is extremely well designed, there's no trace of jank to it and it makes the simple act of wildly running around throughout the different areas a ton of fun. Rarely does the platforming feel slippery or will you find yourself over or undershooting jumps outside of faults of your own abilities. The levels are all fun and complement the movement well. But that's all I can really say about movement without talking about Find Everything has a bunch of worlds for you to explore, quite a surprising amount in fact, all of which are split into about 2 categories. Large open worlds such as Mount Doodah and Blue Beach, and linear challenge levels like Block Party Boogie and the Dump Processing Plant, which you can access through doors found throughout the larger open areas. Of course, the worlds vary in size, and some are more like 3 linear subworlds packed into one, such as Yummy Yum Yard, which I'm pretty sure can fit at least 4 Thingsburgs into itself. The dump is a much smaller area than Yummy Yum Yard, but has 3 sub-level- Gosh, I fucking hate saying Yummy Yum Yard. Like, could they not have picked a better name for that? But has 3 sub-levels and a decent amount of things lying around for you to collect. My point is, they're all extremely different despite them both being large open areas. To better illustrate what I mean, let's go in depth into 2 worlds, continuing with the dump because I can't stop bringing it up for some reason. The dump is a mess of randomly scattered classic Roblox relics and references that most players will probably recognize, such as the cloud and bush, which are recolored versions of the same mesh, which the game points out. Or Mount Doodah, which has a ton of verticality and is one of the first, if not the only place where you'll see these types of falling platforms, these pinwheel platforms and the grind rails. It also has marshmallows and pine cones for you to collect. Pretty exciting, I know. But that's just half of it though. I still need to talk about the subworlds. Almost all of the worlds have at least 2 subworlds for you to explore. For example, Mount Doodah has Galactic Geodes and Doodah Caverns, Yipee City has Tightrope Tribunal.
Tribunal.
Tightrope Tribunal and Dump Processing Plant, you get the idea. Worlds like the dump actually have 3 subworlds to find, though you should know that the subworlds in there are located inside of a dump for a reason. Subworlds almost always contain 1 or 2 things for you to collect, some longer or shorter than others, and some are not quite up to the same standards as the others, to say the least. All of them are fun to play and take good advantage of your moveset while also offering a good challenge. They have tons of unique mechanics too, and none of them are even vaguely boring or frustrating. That is, except for... never mind. I can't wait to see what the rest of the worlds that are currently in development will look and play like, but all I know is that they'll surely be of high quality. But there's a few more things that I haven't mentioned yet that make exploring this game so great. Now, I am a man who has very refined taste in music. I listen to music for intellectuals, such as video game OSTs, anime openings, and the occasional real song. So of course I dedicate a section of this video to the game's soundtrack. Like with any game that Polygonal Hexagon is involved in, a lot of the music is made by Sky the Floof, who also did the soundtrack for most of Super Bomb Survival, Super Doomspire, and Survive the Disasters 2. They have a very distinct style you'd recognize almost immediately if you played any of those games, and Find Everything is no different. It's already fun enough running through the levels, I've made that more than clear throughout this video, but it's made even better when you have bangers like Doomswing playing in the background. Or the Dump Processing Plant theme. All the tracks fit the mood of the areas they're at perfectly. Nothing ever sounds out of place no matter where. Of course, some areas reuse tracks from other worlds, like most of the subworlds share the same 3 songs, but those 3 songs are really good so it doesn't matter all too much. But not every single track is made by Sky the Floof alone. Tracks like Block Party Boogie, Yipee City. Are made by Wheelable, who I don't believe has worked on any songs for any other games by Polyhex, but I could be wrong. I have no clue how Polyhex gets so many talented people to make songs for their game, or how Skywafloof makes so many damn songs for the game Polyhex is involved in, so it's probably safe to assume that Polyhex just keeps these Roblox composers in their basement or something. Just remember that not every area of the game is complete, there's still many more great songs to come. Now let's talk about the other things that make Worlds so entertaining. You may be wondering what characters and thing descriptions have to do with each other, and as most of you have probably guessed 10 seconds ago, that's charm. Allow me to explain. Find Everything has a ton of charming characters to interact with throughout nearly every area of the game, like Mr. Unhappy Consumer here, who's looking for an old dingle scan and has very scathing things to say about SpongeBob, like how Squid Dave installed a security system and it took control of his house. Or you can meet people like Innocent Man, who is a fan of Crappy Wheels and knows my place on the YouTube hierarchy. And who can forget lovable characters such as Milton, who, you should probably stay pretty far away from, and lock your doors and windows too. Last but not least of the characters, Radical Duck, who's technically a thing, but he's a character in our hearts. Obviously, a lot of the stuff I've said applies to things and thing descriptions. Like the stone football that you, in fact, did not make.
Hey, Mario! Look what I made! It's a stone, Luigi. You didn't make it!
Or the roaches when you hit them with that dollar store bug spray that's hidden in a completely random alleyway in Yipee City for some reason. And my personal favorite, number 1. These little things help make the game much more fun to play through, and there's probably a lot of other bangers I just forgot to talk about. Now I'll get on to the last section of the video so you can go play the game. Now, some may say I've been licking this game's boot, perhaps even sucking its cock, and that is true. But it's justified because this game is really good. However, there's a few things I'd like to see added, changed, or fixed. My only two problems are, once you get a majority of the things and you're left searching for those last few things, it gets pretty unfun, especially when those few things are the damn Elder Ring. And the game needs multiple save slots and the New Game Plus kind of option once you collect a certain amount of things so you can recollect them all with or without all of your moves. Cause as of right now, the only way to restart is to delete your current save or just buy the game again on a different account. Anyways, now for suggestions. First, I'd like to see more avenues of getting things, such as quests where once you do a task for someone you get a thing as a reward. Or you do some sort of challenge like get to the end of Block Party Boogie without rolling or air dashing. Or some sort of time trials where you have to complete a level as fast as possible, and the better you do, the more things you get. Maybe even with some leaderboard though that may go against the game's design philosophy. But I don't really care. Would also be cool to see areas that you need a certain amount of things to get to or a certain item. Perhaps something like a super difficult challenge level only unlocked by 100%ing the game, similar like the Champion's Road from Mario 3D World and 3D Land. Last but not least, this absolutely does not fucking matter, but it'd be cool if there was an option to increase the graphics or turn on better lighting outside of Roblox's shitty graphics options, and that's it for suggestions. Overall, Find Everything is easily one of the best 3D platformers on Roblox and could probably compete with a lot of real games out there, especially since you only gotta pay $5 for this. I can't wait to see what the game will have in store once it's complete. Also, Polyhex, please stop teasing us with smelly sewers, and to my viewers, this is your Christmas special. I don't have enough time to make an actual Christmas video, so this is your Christmas special. So, oops.